Hello and welcome. This is Cookies and Crochet. I am Abby and happy May Day. Today is May 1st, 2020, and it is a beautiful day here. It is sunny and thankfully not raining. Praise the Lord. We had rain for the last 2 days and our yard is just a big muddy mess, and the kids going a little bonkers because they haven't been able to go outside and play. So I'm so thankful that they can go outside and play today. Might still be a little muddy, but at least they can get fresh air and sunshine. And anyway, I wanted to get on and share a finished object. This is a knit sock. And if you follow me on Instagram, I have shared it on Instagram, but I haven't made a video and talked about it yet. So I wanted to do that. The pattern I used is out of this knitting sock book that I found at Michael's before all this stay-at-home COVID-19 stuff happened. I found it at Michael's. And the sock pattern I am using is, I think, called the Lazy Weekend socks. I basically started it because I read in the description, if this is your first time making socks, this is a good pattern to start with. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did. And it is supposed to be the needles. I started with DPNs. I don't have the right size circular needles, so I had to do DPNs. And you use a 3.5 millimeter needles. Yeah, 3.5. So let me get them out of the case here. And the yarn is a 4. A yarn weight is 4. So it was supposed to be a pretty big sock, basically. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was supposed to be either a woman's size 9.5 to 12 or a men's size 8.5 to 11. So I actually started out this sock with my husband in mind. I was like, oh, this will make a pretty big sock. It'll be for him, right? Wrong. Okay, so yeah, here's the needles, the DPN I used. Now, I don't know. I have the same problem with my crocheting. I don't mean to do it, but my crocheting tends to be tight. I have to remind myself when I'm doing it to go loose. I don't know what it is, but I think I have the same problem with my knitting. I think it is just, it's tight. So the sock did not turn out the right size. Now, as I was working on it, I did try it on my foot, and the cuff fits my foot, the heel, the cuff, the heel, and the main part of the foot, it fits my foot, but I made it a little too short. And I was thinking, because with knitting, because of the structure of the stitches, that they are just more stretchable, they have more flexibility and stretching than crochet stitches do. So anyway, but it fits my daughter, which is fine because she has been asking me to make her socks. So I said, okay, these are yours. Now I did go ahead and cast on the second sock, and it's tangled up in my bag. So this is the second sock I started. And again, yeah, I really am getting used to the DPNs. I really am. I know what I'm doing now, and I'm a little bit more comfortable this time around. And I'm trying really hard to be more loose. Even when I was doing the cast on, I was, instead of pulling real tight, I was trying to remind myself, because it is really hard when the stitches are too tight. You kind of have to work harder at doing the knitting and purling, and that just causes more stress, and I get a lot of tension in my neck the back of my neck and my shoulders when I'm, so I'm trying to, loosen up and just be more relaxed. But I think the first time around, because I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing and I was trying to focus on reading the pattern and make sure I was doing it right, that I was kind of tense. I think I was. Where this time around, I am a little bit more confident, just a smidgen more confident. So anyway, so the second one is Cast On. And I wanted to talk about, so the cuff here is hang on, let me open it up. I think it's Knit 2, Purl 2 ribbing. Is that right? Yeah, Knit 2, Purl 2 ribbing. So that is this, and I will be honest, as you can see, I made several mistakes. You can see where I messed up. I would forget if I was knitting or purling, and it was basically because I was either getting distracted, or I was trying to watch TV when I was doing it, or maybe the kids were asking me questions and I would forget, did I just purl? Did I just knit? I would have to look at the stitches to know for sure, but I didn't always do that. I was just like, whatever, I just wanted to get it done because it was on the needles for quite a while. I don't even know what day I started this sock, but it took me quite a while. But it is easy once you get the hang of it. The Knit 2, Purl 2, it is really simple. It's just, I think it's the muscle memory, getting your hands to kind of memorize the motion, and you got to bring the yarn forward when you're purling, and then you got to throw it back when you're knitting, and crocheting, you don't have to do that. So it's like learning a whole new concept. Bringing the yarn forward, okay, then throwing it back, okay. So anyway, it just very slow at it. I am still very slow at it, but I finished the sock, which was my main goal. I wanted to finish it. I did not want to rip it back. I didn't want to start over. I didn't want to toss it to the side. I wanted to finish it, so I did. So I am proud of myself for that. I really am. And as you can see, I've talked about it before, but I did fine with the cuff. I did fine with the heel flap. The heel flap was fine. I got really turned around, really confused around the heel turn. I have been kind of looking around at other knitting podcasts, trying to follow some ladies that know about their knitting and then socks that might be able to give me some tips and some help. And I did find, I think she's called Giddy Two Stick Knit with Liz, I think. Anyway, I watched one of her, several of her videos, but one of them is basically a simpler, much simpler way to do the heel turn. And so I am definitely going to do that this time around. On this sock, I'm going to try her technique because it looks a lot simpler, and hopefully I won't have this trouble. Again, once I got past the heel turn, I went on to the foot. It was pretty smooth sailing, and then I was kind of getting a little nervous about the toe because I'd never done the decreases on a knit sock for the toe before. But honestly, all it was is, and you probably already know this if you knit socks, it's, knit two together, knit one, then knit one SSK. So I got the hang of that, and I think the toe decreases, I think they turned out pretty good. Now when I got to the grafting or the Kitchener stitch, it really didn't have, in this pattern, it really didn't have a lot of help with that. It just said, do that for the toe and you're done. And I'm like, do I turn the sock inside out? How can I do that without dropping the stitches? I can't take the needles out. I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to leave this sock right side out. And I just left the needles in there and just went over the needles, the knitting needles with a darning needle. And at first I did kind of mess up, but I was able to fix it. As you can, if you can see, it didn't turn out too bad, but it's not the neatest. It's not, you know, I can do better, and I will do better. But I did have, I think it's in the back, it had a more kind of detailed picture and description of the Kitchener stitch, or grafting is what it's called also. So yeah, here it is, grafting or Kitchener stitch. So it showed exactly what to do. So anyway, it's okay. It's not horrible, but it's not the best. And then I just weaved in the end. And I was, another thing, after I finished the sock and I weaved in all the ends, there were several holes, and I showed this on a couple videos ago. I had a couple big holes here where I switched, where I tried to pick up stitches from the heel flap and continue with the foot. I had one here, I had one here, and there's still a little bit there, and I had a couple here on the heel turn. But I found another knit podcast, I think it's called Wildflower Wool, and she shared a video of how to kind of close up a hole on a knit sock. And so I watched that video. It's kind of a short video, but she shows exactly how to do it. So you turn the sock, and I'll show you real quick. Turn your sock inside out. Oh, I didn't weave in the ends. Thought I did. Oops, I just lied. Sorry about that, guys. But this is exactly, these ties are where I sewed up the holes. So there you go. But basically, if you take a darning needle and the same yarn and you just go around the hole, you know, in the stitches, and then pull it and then tie it up, it closes up the hole. And so I did that. Like I said, there was a hole on the heel turn, and then one on each side of the heel flap. So I haven't weaved in those ends, obviously, but it looks a lot better than it did. It does. And now I know how to do that. So if it occurs in, and I'm sure it will, there's the heel, or the heel. Here's the toe, the Kitchener stitch. Maybe you can see it better on my hand. See, it's not very neat and tidy, but it is closed up. I did kind of the same thing up here, because there was kind of there was a part where I messed up. I missed in the Kitchener stitch, I missed a step, and I didn't realize it until I was kind of in the middle, and I was like, oh, so there was just like this kind of clump of stitches just sitting there, and there was a hole next to it, and then there was a part where I had done it right. So I did the same thing that I did with the holes on the sock. I took my needle and just kind of went around it and then pulled it tight, and then weaved it in. So it's closed, because you don't want holes in your socks. I mean, you wear socks. It's a little sock puppet. Hello. I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist. Anyway, getting back on track. You don't want holes in your socks. You know, you wear socks to keep warm. And those holes were pretty big. Now, as I'm looking at this, and I can put my thumb there, there's still a little bit of a hole there. But, you know, I'm not gonna freak out about it. It could be a lot worse. But anyway, yeah, you definitely don't want holes in your socks, because you just don't. If it's a hole from natural wearing, then I can understand. But anyway, so yeah, my daughter was super excited. I said, this is your sock, and she was ecstatic, and she tried it on, and it's a little loose, but I was thinking to myself, you know, by the time I finish the mate to this sock, it's gonna fit her perfectly, because she's gonna keep growing, and it'll probably take me another month before I'll finish the second one. So it's all good. It's all good. So there it is, my first knit sock, and I'm very excited, and I'm gonna crack on with this And like I said, I'm getting used to the D-pins, and it's much looser this time than before. So that's good. And that's all I had to share today. So I hope you have a wonderful day. We are definitely going to get out in the backyard and we're going to run around and we're going to be crazy and loud because the kids have been cooped up for 2 days. And my mom actually stopped off this morning and dropped off a little thing of flowers and some granola bars for the kids for May Day. So I'm going to insert a picture of that because that was just so sweet. I love flowers and she knows that. So the flowers were for me, the granola bars were for the kids. So anyway, I hope you have a blessed day and I hope you are staying well and staying safe. God bless you all. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for my big birthday reveal of the project I've been working on this week, so don't miss that. It'll be on sometime tomorrow. I have no idea what time because my husband is working. So I don't know if it'll be morning, afternoon, evening, but it will be out. So watch for that, okay? All right, thanks guys. Bye-bye.